Welcome to Breakfast Food, the weekly themed comedy podcast featuring feel-good stories, stupid anecdotes, and advice you didn't even know you wanted. From me, Annabel Logan.
And me.
That was unexpected.
Just bringing the mood down.
That was
turning this podcast into
choice.
ASMR. I know. In my mind, I was like, I've left it too long. Quick.
Oh wow.
I was scared to leave it for any longer, but I'm happy with it. I think it will sound great.
I agree. I want to see how close I can get to my... Hang on.
I know.
Hello.
You've got the pop card.
Oh totally no, hang on.
Oh God.
Hello.
Oh Lord. I'm going to make that sound crispy in the edit.
Oh, okay. How are you this week?
I'm tired.
Oh no.
No, it's good. I was looking after my friend's dog. I've been at work, so it's been a bit. I've essentially, because we've got the cat in my flat and we've got the dog obviously that I was looking after in my friend's flat, we were doing a bit of toing and froing, and so I was waking up at like 6 a.m. to come here to hang out with the cat for 2 hours. Then I would go to work and then I'd come home and I'd hang out with the dog, and Hannah would come here and look after the cat, and it was just it was a lot. However, the most polite dog I've ever met, so she was a little sweetheart and it was well worth it.
That's nice. And did she, like, by the end of the time, was she like really happy you were there and
yes,
like
oh my God,
best friends?
Yeah, she has met us like a few times, so when she sees us she's like, oh, I know you guys, but like it started to be that whenever we showed up to the house she was like her whole body would start wiggling and she would get really excited. She came round yesterday because they were just dropping some of her stuff off and she was so happy to see us, and her and Broccoli got very close together.
Oh, I see.
He was very brave.
Oh,
so I'm very
good Broccoli.
I know. I'm like hoping that means that we can have her like here next time so that we don't have to separate between the two houses.
That would be nice.
What about you? What's your week been like?
Fine. I was ill, but wasn't the best, but I'm okay now. I just had like a cold. I made a cheesecake, which was fun. I made a lemon cheesecake, and
did you make a baked cheesecake or did you do a fridge
just one? A fridge one. I thought, because I did a baked one before, and I like baked cheesecakes, but I think I prefer the ones you just chuck in a fridge. I prefer the mixture.
You know, I've never had a baked cheesecake before.
Oh, they're fine, but for me, not the superior cheesecake, which is very controversial, I think. But you know, I'm a simple person.
It's a bold choice. I just made a decision earlier on that I was no longer going to be quiet about this opinion that I hold. And it is that I believe that the Lion King 2 soundtrack is better than the Lion King 1.
Whoa.
Yup. I've said it.
I annoyingly, I need to rewatch the Lion King 2 because I don't know it nearly as well as the first one.
You need to, it's the one, it's specifically the one where Kovu is being like ousted from Pride Rock, and it's the one that's like, deception. Disgrace.
Yes,
you know the one. I
know the one.
Evil as plain as the scar
on his face.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good one. There's one as well with like, is there not one with Zazu? Is he still in it?
With Zazu?
Maybe he's not.
He's not. Oh, do you mean there's Inupendi, which is with what's his name? The monkey one. Inupendi. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Wow.
They're all good. It fucking slaps. And like, I'm not saying that the first movie doesn't have a good soundtrack. All I'm saying is that the second movie has a better soundtrack.
Maybe the second movie they were allowed to take more liberties and just do what they wanted to more. Whereas the first one was like Elton John, and you know, he was maybe a little bit more mainstream, and that's the way they had to roll with it.
Yeah, maybe. Also, Aladdin and the King of Thieves, which I believe was the third Aladdin movie.
Oh.
That one was amazing too.
I don't think I've seen that one. I've only got as far as the Jafar one, the second one.
Jafar Returns, the Return of Jafar, or whatever.
Yeah, I was like the Return of Jafar. I don't know what it is. Yeah, that
Jafar
one.
times 2.
He's back.
No, Aladdin and the King of Thieves. Aladdin finally meets his estranged father.
Gosh, that's exciting. Sorry, I think there's a cat in the room. You might have heard a few meows.
I wish you could hear that my cat is sat right next to me, and I don't think, hopefully you can't hear it on the microphone, but he snores, and he's like doing his snore right now, but it's really high pitched, so it's like, wait.
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
If I could get the mic down to him without waking him up, I would show you, but I won't be able to.
That's awesome. Dima snores really bad as well, and it's the cutest thing. It's like she has sleep apnea, and I'm like, haha. Hope that doesn't mean she's ill, but no, she's fine. She just
She'll
has
be fine.
small nose airways. I don't know.
Yeah, she's just a small breathing baby.
She is. I love her. Yes.
Anyway, the longest intro ever. We mentioned this last week, but we're gonna try and structure these episodes slightly differently now, and we have a new section called the Breakfast Bugle.
The Breakfast Bugle.
Insert sound.
Here.
Yes. Where Annabelle or myself or both of us just regale the other with a fun story or a little tidbit that we found online or that's been prominent in our lives. You said you had a funny one for me, Annabelle.
Shall I roll right into it?
Please
do. I've just sort of hinted without even meaning to what it might be about. Roll right into. Yeah. So, this is a story that came out, I think it was like a day or two ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the headline reads, Gardener sets new speed record on back of homemade wheelbarrow.
Oh.
Cool. So it's this article, there's this chap called Kevin Nix, and he likes to build motorized sort of things that you'd find in a garden. So he once built a motorized garden shed, and he broke the world record with the speed limit of it.
Wait, why was there already a record set for that?
He just did it. He was like, this is what I want. This is my legacy for my children.
Yeah, but I can imagine him setting the speed limit, but I can't imagine there being a speed limit already in place.
Maybe there wasn't. Maybe he did set it. I don't know. Anyway, he made himself a motorized wheelbarrow, and it looks, I'll post a picture up, but you might be able to see him in it there.
I can see him standing behind. Oh wait, is he on a Segway?
Pretty much. He's basically got a wheelbarrow, and then he's built sort of what looks like a Segway behind it, and then he
a hoverboard.
Yeah, and then he uses the kind of wheelbarrow handles to steer himself as he rolls along. And he's quoted here as saying, every journey on it is not just going fast in a straight line, you're trying to avoid crashing, which is great.
Which is great.
And he's like, the adrenaline rush is unbelievable. I can imagine. And I think he's managed to get to 72 kilometers per hour.
Is that what's that 50 miles or something? Yeah. That's crazy.
Oh, I found out how fast his shed was. It hit speeds of more than 100 miles per hour. What?
How? Was he on a Segway for that one too, or was he in it?
I don't have a picture of that one.
With the wheelbarrow one, that's what I thought. I thought that it was going to be him inside the wheelbarrow.
I know, that's what you'd want.
Just precariously balanced.
That's terrifying. Yeah, I wish. Maybe he could set it up next time with sort of someone in it, like a bobsleigh.
Yeah, I don't understand. Why would anyone need a shed? A mobile. Why would anyone need a mobile shed? Full stop. Why would anyone need a drivable shed? And why does anyone need that drivable shed to be able to go over 100 miles per hour?
I don't know, it seems quite post-apocalyptic. It's sort of a bit Mad Max. And it's like the world's gone to pot, like there's like barely any resources, but you've got yourself your like armored shed and you can like run around in it all day and like kind of protect yourselves from like thieves and hoarders. That's my thought.
The world, okay, two things. First of all, the world's gone to pot, more like the world's gone to plant pot. I'm
The world's gone to shed.
Oh, incredible. Number two, a wooden shed is not going to protect you from robbers and thieves out in the wasteland.
Maybe.
Have you seen what everyone else in Mad Max writes?
Maybe they have no arms. I don't know. Maybe.
What?
Well, I wish him well. I love that this has clearly been a passion project for like a long time, and
it must be. Yeah.
Can you imagine like the suffering of his family? And he's like, I'm off to the shed to keep building my motorized wheelbarrow. And they're like, can you do something useful? Can you cook some dinner? I don't know.
No, I'm off to the shed, and by that I mean I'm going to go and take a trip in my shed.
Yeah, I'm going to like lose my thoughts in my shed and take it for a ride. I'm going to find a picture of him in his shed as well, because I think it sounds amazing.
Yes, please do. It's like a boat. Wait, what? It's like so I did not think that this man was going to attach. He's like carved the front of a car onto the shed.
It looks so good. It's like if like a kid drew a car. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. It's like if you explained what a caravan was to a child. That's what the child, and it had never seen a caravan before. That's what it would draw. So now that there's now that I've quit my job, I can tell you stories as and when, rather than having to leave a grace period. There was a woman, we started doing tours again. Right now we've only got 8 people on a tour, so like there's a lot of just chatting, like in amongst the normal tour stuff. There's a lot of just like, how's your week been? Have you got anything else going on today? And there was this couple at the back who that day was their first day not shielding. Like they hadn't been out of their houses like for like 4.5, 5 months by that point.
Wow.
And it showed. Like that woman was just desperate for any, and she had like lost all sense of like what's okay to say in a social situation and what's not. And at one point, so we were talking about gin. I work at a gin distillery, I'm sure everybody knows already. And she was like, my mother never drank gin because she said it made her cry. And I was like, oh, that's actually very interesting. There's a whole history behind that, blah, blah, blah. And then she cut me off to tell me this story when she was 16, she was at a wedding and she went into the bathroom and a woman in the bathroom was crying.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, are you okay? And the woman said, no, my baby's dead.
What?
And then she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then another woman came in and she was like, why is she crying? And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, like I had no idea. She said her baby's died. And then she was like, yeah, her baby died 25 years ago. She's just been drinking gin.
Oh my God.
And I was like, why have you told me this story? Why have you done this to me in a room full of people?
What was the reaction of people around her?
I mean, everyone around her was just like, that like awkward, silent shock. Do you know what I mean? Where like everyone else was like, this woman was quite old, so obviously everyone else just like didn't want to be like, what the fuck? You just, that thing where like an old person or a drunk person on the bus says something and you just act like you didn't hear it.
I know.
That's what everybody was doing.
Man.
And it was just like me just being like, oh, that's, oh no, oh God. And then I know, and obviously I was trying desperately to get off the subject. So I was like, oh, I hope she's a little happier now. And she went, well, I think she'll be dead now. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh no.
I know.
It's like that kind of situation where there's usually, if it's a bigger group, there's one person that will just burst out laughing because it's so awkward.
Yeah, I mean, I wished, because like, I think I literally just said like, oh, don't know how to come back from that one. How's everybody enjoying the gin? And just like pretend like it didn't happen. But like everyone in the group was literally just like, ooh,
yeah,
not touching that one.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, so awkward.
Yeah.
So awkward.
People. I don't know what to do in that. I think I just have done what you would have done. Just been like,
yeah. I mean, I swear I get it all the time. I don't know if it's that I'm particularly easy to talk to, or like if I make people like too comfortable. I don't know. But like it's so often that I get like, especially like older women or older men just telling me these like stupid or like heinous stories, and then them just being like, well, that's life. And me being like, no, it's not.
Oh no, it's like, this is what I have to look forward to. Okay, great, bye.
I know. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh well. It seems like she didn't have any worries about it, if that makes sense.
Oh no, she was totally just like, this is a normal story that you tell in social situations.
Oh, it must be a hoot in her house for 5 months. Oh my god.
I know. Well, her and her husband for 5 months. I know. He was like talking about, because he was also like chatty, but he was just telling me about his garden, telling me about, you know, what he was doing in the house, and she was like, my friend's dead baby, just like next to...
Oh Jesus. That's maybe why he like, maybe he's the guy who the motorized shed after all this. Maybe he's like, I gotta go somewhere. I can't.
I gotta go. She won't let me buy a motorbike.
Yeah. I love it. That is one thing I miss about like the interactions at Edinburgh Gin, is like just getting some complete like, oh my god, crazy anecdotes, crazy stories, like people like opening up. You're right, it's just obviously alcohol, and oh my god.
I must have told you about this before, but I might have even told it on the podcast before, but there was this one time that I was doing the gin making, which is where people sit with you, you make them gin, you give them a lot of gin, they're with you for like 4 hours. And it was a mum and 2 daughters, and they were like having a fine time. They were very drunk, but they were enjoying themselves. And I left to go and do something, and I came back and the mum was crying.
Oh.
And she was like looking at Facebook, and she was like, I can't believe she's done this to me, and what am I supposed to do? And like the daughters were like trying to like, I don't know, trying to like be like, it's mum, it's not that bad. Like the daughters very much had an expression of like, so it's this person has not slighted you, mother. It's nothing bad has happened. You're just drunk. That's essentially what the vibe I was getting was. But then I still have to sit there. Like I can't just leave. I had to sit there in with them and be like, how is everyone? So what are you doing for the rest of the day?
She's like, I'm gonna be stalking some bitch on Facebook.
Yeah. Sandra told me to bring banana bread to the kids' bake sale, but she's brought banana bread.
Oh no, that is pretty awkward. I've generally like got rid of so much of my like brain power memories from working at Edinburgh Gin. Like I'm like, I
black a lot of it out.
I black so much of it out.
I think it's genuinely repression some of the time.
Well, it's fine.
You're just like, oh, I'm going to repress that one.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't float up again when I'm like middle-aged drinking a gin. I'm like, ah!
You get like a flashback to some drunk guy on your tour.
Oh, great.
Oh, I mean, something happened to one of our colleagues once, I think he said before, where he was talking about something or other. He was talking about gin of some sort, and then someone in the front row just stood up and went, Brexit! And sat back down again. Even though that's nothing to do with any of the things that they were talking about.
When this was technically before people have a drink, so okay.
Yeah, by the time they sit down on the tour, they're sober as well. It's you get some really, really insane. I'm glad I'm leaving. Is the only thing I can say about that.
Oh my god.
But I did also, a complete departure, I've been obsessed with the kids write jokes.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
Since you told me about it. Oh my god, can I read some out to you?
Of course, I will love to hear them.
Find, there was some really good one. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Ignore the cow.
Ignore the cow who?
No, that's the whole joke.
Yeah.
How old is a pig that doesn't know you?
I don't know.
Infinity.
Oh, the best number. When you're a kid, you're always like, infinity. I hate you times infinity.
Oh yeah. I hate you times infinity and 1.
Oh yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense. It's like, yeah, it's always plus. No, it was I hate you 80 times infinity plus one more than you could ever say.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. And burn and walk away.
Yeah. What was that other one? A complete departure from the infinity one. But what was it was like, if someone called you a bitch and you'd be like, well, a bitch is a female dog and a dog is part of nature and nature is beautiful. So thanks for calling me beautiful.
Oh, class. I love it.
Who passes these things down?
I know.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
because I know that they have been passed down. They were passed to me and my kin.
I know.
They came from, and like, I don't even know how I knew of these things, but like, for sure, like, or like the Superman S. Like, is there a single human in the world that doesn't know how to draw that, like, Superman S? You know,
I know the
three
one.
lines and yeah. Like, but who passed it down to us?
My educated guess, which isn't even funny but probably just true, is siblings.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm an only child, so that's probably why I'm like, I don't understand.
I don't get it. Yeah, like I think it's that, or there's just some secret lore like tome in like the school, and I don't know, someone finds it every year and spreads that knowledge. That would be much cooler.
That would be incredible. Yeah, there's like a council, and their sole purpose is to pass on the knowledge from kin to kin, child to child through
generations.
The years.
Oh, that would be so.
Oh my
good.
God, Annabelle, it's the government. Hear me out.
Okay. Yep.
These are actually incantations because children are born knowing everything. Children are born with the infinite knowledge of the universe, exceptionally smart, and these incantations and spells bind memories into our minds to keep us in the dark about what the government are doing.
Oh, lordy lord. Do you know what?
The government knows spells, Annabelle.
That's interesting you say that, because when I was a kid, I genuinely believed when I learnt the like meaning of life, then I would just drop down dead. Yeah, is that like a dark thing, like the lady in the toilets with the baby story? But I would genuinely believe that. I would just be like,
that makes sense though.
Yeah.
It makes sense that like you'd learn the meaning for life and be like, okay, that's enough.
That's it. And like in theory you would learn it older in life, you know, sort of thing. And yeah, it didn't frighten me. It was just kind of like, oh, maybe that's just why you go, because you've learned the meaning of life.
The best outcome is that like you're old, you're just like tired, you're on your deathbed, and then that's when it comes. That's like the
I know.
Interesting.
But maybe it's a suppressed memory, because maybe I did know everything about life when I was like born.
Maybe we did know it, but we traded it for Down Down Baby Down by the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Instead.
Or my father went to CCC.
Yeah. To see if he could CCC the meaning of life.
But all that he could CCC was C.
Was the regression of his brain into CCC. Can I tell you one last Kids Write Jokes? Mm-hmm. I just love this one because it's so clearly something a child has written. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Harry.
Harry who?
Harry Potter and the It's spelled TREUVDSNFFEWRPEP.
It's beautiful. It's good. I love it.
It's the best. It's so wonderful. That reminds me of Hannah found a tweet the other day that she thought was like the funniest thing, or it's a Twitter account that is its whole premise is that J.K. Rowling, the horrible shitty little turf that she is, has passed on the rights to Harry Potter to this other person who started this Twitter thing, and he started making Harry Potter but Italian.
Oh my god, that's so good.
So instead of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, it's Giuseppe Stromboli and the briefcase of meatballs.
Oh my Is this an account?
Stromboli. Oh my god. It must be. I'll need to find them. I'll find them. I'll let you know when you post them, when we post this episode.
Oh my god, I love that. That's so
oh my god,
great. This is the kind of shit I follow on Twitter. Like, I try and balance it, but I definitely gravitate towards just weird accounts.
Just shit posts.
Just shit posts. Sure. Yeah.
I'm so new to Twitter that I'm still like figuring out like what's fun about it. Like every now and again I'm like, haha, this was fun, but I don't follow enough fun people for it to be fun all the time, you know?
Me too. I find Twitter really hard. Like I don't really post much on Twitter because I don't really, like, I have my own like creative stuff, but it's not really even sometimes I feel the platform for my creative stuff, because it's mainly just people wanting to like make a comment about the world or agree with something or disagree with something, and I don't know. I
think it's like there's a lot of scope for Twitter to be a really funny place, and like it looks like Twitter's really good for like people riffing on jokes, like jokes upon jokes upon jokes. Do you know what I mean? And that's super fun. But like, I just haven't really found like Hannah's. I know I sound so old when I say Hannah's great at Twitter, but she is. Like, she finds really funny things. She knows who to follow. She's, whatever. Whereas every now and again, I go on there and I'm like, well, still nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I'm like, I should just retweet some things. I'm like, ha, okay. And then that's it. And yeah, I don't know. Oh, man. Well.
I retweeted something yesterday. I think it was a post that was made yesterday or the day before. The hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth was recorded a couple of days ago.
Jesus.
So yeah, it was in what's it called? The place in California, the big old desert in California.
Like
No, it was like oh my god,
the desert. I know the one.
Valley of Death or
Death Valley. Death Valley.
Death Valley.
I was like, I knew there was something deathly in there.
That was hard.
That was hard.
So yeah, the highest temperature on Earth ever recorded. It was recorded in Death Valley in California a couple of days ago, and it averages in Celsius to something like 56.
Really?
Or something like that. Yeah, in Fahrenheit it was like unreal. Like, so yeah. Guys, lads, cut your emissions down.
Climate change is real.
I know, climate change is so real and it's really scary. If I stepped out into like 56 degrees, I would catch on fire.
I know, I couldn't. The hottest I've ever stood in was 36, and that for me was just painful. And I know, like, there's people that go through, like, over 40 degrees in the summer, but
I was literally talking to this about to Hannah about this the other day, about, like, what the sun feels like on my skin. Like, it doesn't feel tingly or like, it feels warm, obviously, but it doesn't feel like a nice tingle. It feels like stabbing. Like, there's like loads of just little, like, the sun is nipping my skin. I know that it's definitely burning.
It's just crisping in front of your eyes, like slowly sizzling on a pan. It's like,
I feel like you'd be able to heat it if you were in 56 degrees.
Yeah, oh my god, that's grim, but also probably true. Can you imagine?
Oh Lord.
It was like anyone around Edinburgh, we had that awesome thunderstorm last week.
Oh my god,
how cool was
that? About that? Oh my god, it was amazing. It was like, so again, as cool as it was due to global warming.
Yes, it was.
Because it was essentially, I don't know if we do have any listeners outside of Scotland. Scotland is not a hot place typically.
You probably rainy, know like stereotypical rain. We don't really hit much over 20. We get 22 degrees. That's like a really nice summer day.
Yeah, that's a day where I have to factor 50 the whole body.
Me too.
But this storm was a tropical thunderstorm.
Yeah. So
it was like torrential rain and then non-stop thunder, and like it got to a point where the thunder was so consistent that it was like a blanket of thunder. It never stopped. It was just a rumble. It was absolutely insane. I had to go and stand out in it for a bit because I had to take Rowan, the dog, out for her like nighttime pee.
Oh, poor Rowan.
I know, but the poor girl, she's from Spain, so she hates the cold, and she refuses to go outside in the rain. So I took her outside because I was like, you have to pee. And she just like stood up against the wall trying not to get wet. And I was like, please, like just one little pee, that's all I need, then we'll go back inside. And this whole time there's like lightning crashing everywhere, thunder. It was crazy.
I took loads of videos. It was like
same
it's like someone had a dodgy light fixture. Like, it was just so amazing, like the lightning.
It was just flickering, yeah.
Oh, anyway, people, if people listen to this that are like from somewhere else that isn't UK, they're probably like,
I know, they're like, yes, okay, we
cool,
get it.
good for you.
Totally normal, yeah.
But no, this was quite something to behold.
Yeah, I know, Lord. I've been speaking about it all week. I can't believe I didn't bring it up with you. So the next are well, this isn't even a new section, it's just a revamped version of a section we had previously, which is the weekly waffle. This time around it's going to be a weekly waffle where one of us has prepared a question for the other and the other does not know what the question is going to be. And this week Annabelle has a question ready for me that I shall be responding to. I'm very excited. So, what is my weekly waffle this week?
You inspired me. You have inspired me from last week's your serving suggestion last week about street food. And I thought to myself, I wonder, Cara, what you would cook if you had a street food van, and where would you have that street food van in the world?
Oh my god! Oh, that's a really difficult question.
Yeah.
So I do have to factor in what we just talked about. As much as I would love to go somewhere like super sunny, super nice, I would die.
Yeah.
So like, as much as I would love to say, oh yeah, I would go to like Latin America or Southeast Asia, like I don't know how I'd survive. So, what would I sell? Oh my god. See, whenever anyone asks me my favourite food, I always say carbonara, but that's not very easy to sell at the back of a van.
That's a whole vat of, like, sauce there.
That's a lot. Yeah. I think I would have to go for a cold something in a hot place so that I can stay cool whilst I'm working. Oh, maybe I would serve... Have you ever seen the videos of those people who like make ice cream by like pouring a bunch of stuff on a cold plate and then like chopping it up?
Whoa, no.
Oh, it's cool. It's
okay.
like... It's like a flat top, except instead of it being for grilling, it's freezing cold. And people pour like milk on it, then berries on it, and then whatever into like a puddle. And then they've got these two spatulas and they just like dig at it, like just like chop at it.
Oh,
and
fun.
they like until essentially they churn it into like icy like cream. And they make like ice cream and then they flatten it. A lot of them flatten it out into a big square and then they run the spatula under it and it makes like ice cream curls.
That sounds
that
awesome.
They like pop in a little tub and then hand out to people. Maybe I would do that because my heart says I would want to go back to Japan.
Yeah.
And sell street food in Japan in like Osaka or something. But Japanese street food is so incredible and like I would not be able to compete with like takoyaki or okonomiyaki or anything like that. So I'm like, if I sell ice cream, no one ever says no to ice cream.
That's true. You can find your niche. I actually watched the Osaka episode of the street food thing,
nice.
And I was like, I was so into it. And the guy, if you get a chance to watch it, anyone out there, like the guy on it is just like the sweetest little man, and it was so nice and very interesting to watch and like.
It's called Street Food. Oh my god, I can't speak. Street Food Asia, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's just like street food. Food Asia.
There's also Street Food Latin America, which we're currently watching. Same production, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, he's super sweet, and the thing is, I've noticed it, from every single one of these vendors has like a harrowing story.
I know.
Like with none of them, it's never just like I was fine and life was good and then I opened up this stall. It's always like these horrible things happen to me one after the other, but now I have this stall and I'm happy again. And it's like, oh my god,
it's a journey. Like, oh my
it's
lord,
it's such a journey.
And they keep losing everything in their lives and then building it all up again. It's like
when I watch these things, because I get very invested in people really quickly.
Yeah.
Like I would say one of my biggest strengths is that I get really proud of people. Even people I don't know. I get really proud, like moved to tears kind of thing. It's also one of my biggest weaknesses because I get really invested for no reason in a lot of stuff. But even though I'm watching them succeed in their businesses, whenever they're like, yeah, 15 years ago this bad thing happened, I'm like, no, how will you ever recover? Oh no.
I know, you're like, did you survive?
Yeah.
Oh bless. Yeah, there's something, I've been getting much more into like these human like stories, kind of real life documentary things, and I'm the same as you. I get really invested in people, and I'm the same with when I watch like TV series like as well. I get really invested in certain characters and start to believe they're like, you know, real or my friends, and it's like quite something to go through that journey. Yeah,
I get that. It's when you've watched something that you've loved watching and you get to the last episode and you're like, my friends are gone.
I know,
I have to say goodbye to my friends, and you're like, what do I do now?
It's like a mini grieve. Like you have to like grieve a little bit. It's really something. Don't we kind of forget how invested we get, and you know, you do feel a bit bummed out for a bit after, and I think it's like for sure we're grieving. I know it's like not on a scale of, you know, when you lose someone for real in your life, but it's still like a little bit there of that feeling. Oh. What
would you say was the biggest, like, you were sad it was over TV show?
Oh, it's a good question. Oh my god. There's so many that I've just started crying at. I remember the tears, but I don't remember where they came from.
Ain't that always the way? I'll tell you one of mine.
Yeah, please do.
Well, two that come to mind like straight away was Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh my god, yes, that is definitely up there for me as well. I bawled my eyes out. I was so sad. Yeah, it was like when that finished. Oh yeah. Yeah, I wanted more so badly, and also Parks and Recreation when that ended. Oh yeah, that's it. I think. Like, yeah, I could have had that a bit with The Office, and I actually had, the only one I can remember is I had that with Breaking Bad when I watched it. I was so invested in these characters, and particularly Jesse, and so like, you know, I won't give any spoilers away if you've never seen Breaking Bad, but I was so invested in his life, and like, you're rooting for him, you know, so that was quite something. I remember being very, very emotional after that ended as well. But oh yeah, every time I get invested in people like that.
Oh my god, I mostly for me it's cartoons. Like, speaking of Avatar, actually my friend recently watched it for the first time. I think it's for some reason it's become it's because it's on Netflix now. Yeah, so it's become like a second round of hype. And she messaged me and she was like, can I commission you for some art? And I was like, yes, of course you can. And she was like, I know this is really weird, and also, again, spoilers for Avatar, and like, apologies if anyone's not watched it and they don't know who I'm talking about, but she was like, this might be a bit of a weird ask, but essentially she had watched it, she'd seen the show sort of building up this tension between Zuko and Katara, and she was angry that Katara got with Aang instead of Zuko.
Oh my god, I was the exact same. I was like,
oh well, then perhaps you will enjoy it. She essentially commissioned me. She was like, can you draw like a chibi, like, you know, that sort of cute big head style of like just them hugging and in love. So I drew her.
That's so nice. Oh my god, that's so cute. I'm totally with her on that. Like, I remember when the ending happened, and I was like, no, hold up. I felt that tension between the two of them.
It definitely was there. Yeah. I won't lie. I think personally for me and my morals, I don't know. I don't particularly know Katara's age, and because I don't know her age, I know Zuko is older.
That's true. Yes, she's definitely younger.
But same to be said for Katara and Aang. I think there's an age difference there too.
Like hundreds of years, but yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. And then I know that have you watched Korra at all?
No, I've kind of like been deliberately not venturing into it because I was so in love with all the characters in the
you might as well. Like, it's still fun. It's still good. But like, I love, one of the things I like about the Avatar is the time period it's set in. And Korra, it's like it's been set in like the 1920s kind of time. That's what it feels like.
Okay.
Or it's got elements of that in it, which I wasn't super here for. However, there is this one, there's two things. There is this one section, it's like 3 or 4 episodes, and it is like the birth of the first Avatar, and it's a completely different art style, and it's like the most stunning thing I've ever seen. Like, okay. I actively just sit and watch only that sometimes.
Okay.
But the second thing I was going to say was Toph, spoilers ahead, Toph has children in the future, and there is many rumours suggesting that they are Sokka's children.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But like rumours just from fans, or like little Easter eggs in the show that might hint?
Well, people say there are Easter eggs, and a lot of people are like, well, just look at them and then look at Sokka. They're very similar, but I don't know. I would prefer to believe that it wasn't Sokka.
Yeah.
Because I don't like that. Like everyone gets paired. Everyone gets paired off nicely. You know.
That's
so
too neat.
I'd rather that. Yeah, Toph just got to be Toph instead of, you know.
I agree with you there. Yeah. It's like, so I would never have once looked at them during the show and thought, oh, there's like more than friendship there. Personally.
That's what I said, but Hannah was like, oh no, I see it. They set that up loads in the show, and I was like, do they? Like,
yeah, no,
I had never seen it before, but well, hey, you know,
we see what we want. That's cool.
Yeah, I guess we see what we want to see. It's like how in every single thing I watch, if I don't know better, I'm like, oh, she's definitely gay. She's gay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, why not? Yeah. Oh, love it. I'm glad we both watched it.
Me too. I think everyone should. If you haven't watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, you need to. It's so good. It's like one of the best cartoons out there. I'm about to go back and rewatch Adventure Time from the beginning.
Oh, I never finished Adventure Time. I think I got through the first couple of series, but never went further.
I will get at some point. I will get back onto it because I've watched like it in bits and bobs, but it's like one of Hannah's favorite cartoons, and she's like, oh, the overarching story is incredible. So now I need to get back.
Oh, okay. Maybe I should give it another go.
We'll do a marathon and we'll recap it together.
Okay. Next podcast.
Next podcast. Actually, I don't think I'll be able to finish it in time. It's so much. Yeah,
it's a lot. So
I would like to reverse the question, the initial question back to you. If you had a food fan, what would it be? Where would it be?
I have actually weirdly thought about this before, and like, only because I think it would be really cool. It might not necessarily be my favourite food, but I just thought it'd be like quite in demand and quite cool. I was thinking if I was going to do this, I would set up a porridge food fan in in Berlin, and like the winter months of Berlin are so cold, and there's loads of cool arty hipster types, and they would love a porridge fan. Like, it would warm them up. They could go for different flavors. There would be fun different toppings. They'd be into it, and it should be quite cheap as well. You know, that was my weird thought. I know, a porridge fan. No, I've not seen any porridge fans around.
Yeah, I'm the only one. I've never eaten porridge in my life.
What?
I know the reason is my dad, he eats anything, everything, like, you know, food is he will eat whatever you put in front of him. However, porridge is one of the only things that texture wise he can't stand.
I get that.
And I think because of that, it was never in the house, so I never ate it. So now I don't even know what the texture of porridge is.
Oh my gosh. Cara, you've never lived. You need to find a porridge. Something. You need to eat some porridge.
A porridge
just
dispensary.
Once. Yeah. I guess I really do get the texture, though. I get why people don't like it.
Porridge?
Well, I would describe it like, so if you're making it thicker, you'd have like, so it's like a, oh god, it's so good. It's like a paste with like bits of like, it's like lumps. It's like a lumpy paste. What's wrong with that?
Well, I mean, I think my dad maybe has a point.
And it tastes like...
You're not selling it to me.
When you eat it without anything, it tastes of literally cardboard. It's great.
What?
It's all about the stuff you put in it, I think. And I personally need to have it like with loads of honey. It needs to be quite sweet. And yeah,
well, we
put fruit
discovered
in it and stuff.
I believe last week or the week before, your incessant need for honey and sweet
Yes,
food.
it's never gone away. I love honey. I love it.
I wish I'd known that. I would have brought you some back when I was in New Zealand. They've got Manuka honey over there. It's
Oh my
like,
god,
apparently the
that's
best.
so good. I know, it's so expensive.
It is
Maybe not in
expensive.
New Zealand though. Maybe it's like
It's less expensive
cheap.
in New Zealand, but it's like a tourist thing now. You know what I mean? Like, so it's sold for like to tourists, so it's still pretty expensive.
Do people not like use it to like chuck on their face and stuff? It's
Yeah, it's like there's like beauty products made of Manuka honey and like there's all sorts. There's like everything you can imagine they've turned it into like from Manuka honey. Yeah, but speaking of textures, have you ever tried Japanese natto?
Oh, I don't think so. No.
Oh, it's a texture that you will never have experienced before. I don't think there's
I am
food.
weird with my textures. Like I am weird with them.
I unfortunately can't eat it. I did try it, but there's no way. It's like, I believe they're fermented beans. I could be wrong, or fermented soybeans or something like that. I'm forgetting what they are because I ate them one time and was like, oh, that's enough. But you're supposed to, when you get a little pot of natto, you stir it up and then you eat it. But as you stir it, it turns into literal goo. Like imagine, you know how the slime that you can play with?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but it's stickier. Yeah, it's the weirdest. Like, you've never had food with that texture before. It's so strange.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd like... I had, you know those like little, like, they're like wrapped like in rice and they're like soft squidgy sweets.
A mochi?
Those? Yeah, maybe. I found them in like a Chinese supermarket here.
Oh, I don't know that.
But like obviously it stocks like every Asian food ever. And they freaked me out because they were like squishy, ricey, like sluggy. They reminded me of a slug.
Textures. Textures when it's like, here's this one texture, can you eat this? Usually I'm like, fine, yes. But when you mix textures together, that gets me weird. We had burritos last night. Hannah made burritos, and thankfully didn't put any beans in. I like beans, but like the texture of like crunching into a bean when I think I'm gonna get something else, I don't know. It's just like, it's just weird. Also, sorry for catching his little collar. He's like he's furiously scratching his own face. You might also hear him when he scratches his face, like with his back leg. I don't know if it's that he forgets that it's his leg, or I don't know what happens, but he will hiss at it after a second.
Oh, bless.
So he scratches, and then he gives his own foot a warning, and then if he continues to scratch, then he'll hold the foot next to his own face and be like, have a little hiss at it. Anyway.
Yeah, so...
Shall we... Serving suggestions.
Yeah.
Serving
suggestions. I have... Actually, I kind of do. If you're feeling a little bit like hard on yourself, or you're... I don't know. I'm not very good at being kind to myself sometimes. So I am quite hard on myself with like my work and, you know, all that stuff. I found a nice poem that I thought really captured, like, it's called Kindness, and it's by a lady who's called Naomi Shiap Nai, and it's basically like telling you about to have kindness. You usually have to be a person that's had like a lot of sorrow or pain in their lives, because, you know, it's like with that you kind of understand what it is to, you know, be good to people and kind and realize people are always in pain or suffering in some way, like varying degrees. But yeah. So anyway, I found this poem the other week, and it sort of stuck with me a bit. And yeah, I would recommend having a little read of it, sort of seeing what you make of it.
That's nice.
Yeah, kindness, and just generally, we need to be nicer to ourselves. I'm so like rubbish at doing this sometimes, or like I'm my own worst enemy. And
for sure,
and I'm so good at being nice to other people and being really accommodating to them, and then I forget to do it to myself. Which
it's so strange, isn't it? How, especially because the things that you think are wonderful in others are the things that you dislike the most in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I find that a lot. Like I know a lot of people who feel one way about everyone else's bodies. They're very positive about everyone else's bodies, but they don't feel that way about their own bodies. Or like for me, when I see that someone's like going for it with something and they're like taking a risk or something, like I'm like, oh my god, yes, I'm so excited for them. But when it's me, I'm like, oh no, I'm going to fail. Like obviously right now, having just quit my job, I'm like trying to start doing freelance illustration and trying to start making essentially my own business. And you know, being a self-saboteur essentially means that I'm forever fighting. Obviously, I think it's a lot for me to do with imposter syndrome. I know you have issues with imposter syndrome as well. If anyone's this is your first time hearing, I'm sure it won't be, but if it's anyone's first time hearing about it, imposter syndrome is essentially feeling like you are faking it. You're faking success or knowing things. It would be imposter syndrome, for example, might be me thinking that I don't actually know a single thing about how to talk into a microphone, even though I'm doing it this very moment. But yeah, it's the best way to get past things like imposter syndrome and being unkind to yourself is just like almost, for me, it's like force yourself to like yourself. Like, force yourself to find even one little thing that you think is really great about yourself, and then eventually that one little thing will turn into a couple little things, one big thing, a couple big things, and then but that's coming from someone who is still working through that process. Of
course. And I think people like we always are, and I think it's like it's so easy to catch ourselves in that thought of like sort of being mean to ourselves, or sort of, you know, in our mind saying, oh but, or you should be doing this, or all these negative thinking thoughts. And like I guess that's it. What you're saying is you just need to like realize when you do that and try and catch yourself in the moment and be like, is this true? No. But it's like obviously much harder to do than just to say it. And I'm just sort of in that mood where I'm just like, I'm always trying to like sort of fight that voice. And sometimes I get like really kind of like weird or kind of horrid messages on my Instagram, like my videos that I make. And
really,
and they're really innocent videos. Like they're just like, there's nothing.
I would never have expected people to leave horrible comments.
People are bizarre, and it's like it's only men. I have to say, it's only ever be men.
Yep.
And I had one.
How dare a woman be doing something?
I know. Oh my god. Honestly, like, I mean, I get the classic ones of, this is proof why women aren't funny, and you're just like, they wash off me. I'm like, whatever. I'm still making it.
You've heard that one so many times.
Yeah, but there's some that like are quite shocking to me, and I mean, I'm kind of new into this, but I've had a couple of people give, like, I'm gonna like warn people now. This is like a bit of a trigger warning, so like, you know, but you know, I've had people give me rape threats for posting comedy videos, stupid comedy videos about nothing.
That is insane.
Yeah, and there's no political agenda to my videos. Even if there was, it doesn't matter. But
like, at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter at all what the video is about. That's still never warranted, ever. Yeah,
and it's just sort of amazing. Like, it just more astounds me that there's people out there that take the time to not only watch my video, learn what it says, find something to say about it, and then also on top of that be very explicit and just very like it's just like horrible language, and you know they're trying to provoke you and shock you, but it's just sort of like that much time has been taken out of their day to make that to someone they don't know. It's amazing. And it really made me think today. I was like, God, I can't even imagine what it's like for like female policymakers, people that are heading up like minority organizations, charities, like people that must deal with this stuff like so much every day. And it's like,
I don't know if you saw, it was in America. I'm terrible at recalling any details, and as you know, heinous at knowing names for people. But it was a female politician. She was coming down the steps of a parliamentary building, I believe in America, and the representative for Texas like yelled, like called her like a something bitch or something like that, just like another like someone in politics, someone that she has to work with, just like yelled this. And then she ended up, calling him out essentially inside of the parliamentary house. I don't know any of the words, but it's the fact that, like, just like what you say, this woman who's just doing her job, she literally didn't even speak to him. She just wandered past. But because she's a woman doing something, he has to comment on it. He'll die if he doesn't.
Yeah, I know. His dick will literally explode into tiny pieces. Tiny,
even smaller than you already are. Whoa.
But that kind of links into my kindness, because, of course it, like, when I read something like that, it's not like a pleasant thing, but it's like, I think I'm now at the age I am able to distinguish what I'm good at. And I know I have to keep remembering what I love to do and what I'm good at, and to do it regardless. And, in a way, I'm not speaking for everyone, but it'd be nice if it almost empowered us more and more. If that's the kind of reaction you're getting for something like that, then, that says so much more about that other person than yourself.
It says that you're not the problem.
Yeah,
like, absolutely. It says that you could have done literally anything, posted literally anything, and you still would have got that response from that person.
Yeah, totally. So yeah.
Ugh, I'm sorry that happens to you. That sucks.
It's just
unfortunately,
like new
it doesn't
for me.
Surprise me. Like,
I know, and it's like it's new for me in the sense that I've only recently started putting videos out really on the grand scale of things. And it's just kind of just something I'm interested in. Like, I'm not interested in, but like I'm just finding it just interesting, like the level that people will go to for that kind of like trying to do that. But anyway, there's not really any point I'm making of it. It's just sort of like kind of tied into just
it's still worth bringing up.
Keep being kind to yourself. Keep doing what you're doing, and don't stop because someone else is trying to make you putting down. Yeah. And
as shit as it feels, try not to engage, because
totally.
Like, I found that as well. Like, whenever I post anything even vaguely to do with the current climate in America, the current civil war that's going on, anything like that, I'll always get at least one comment that boils my blood so much that I will end up either wanting to or end up replying, and there's never any point, because that person's not looking to be educated. They're looking to make you angry, and like giving them any satisfaction or gratification that they have made you angry, then they that's like crack to them, and you don't give them crack. Drugs are bad.
Yeah, I agree. Like, generally the best thing to do is just to like let them rant into like an echo chamber for
some
themselves.
Sort of void.
Like,
exactly.
Like
rant into the void.
Rant into the void.
Into the chasm with you.
Anyway, I was trying to think of like funny puns on chasms, but nothing came to me.
I mean, it's not the easiest.
Oh my god! Do you have a serving suggestion?
I had one earlier on, and now I can't remember what it was.
No.
The only thing that's like buzzing around in my head is because I literally watched it a video about it just before I sat down to chat to you, and it's about making your own like wok popcorn. Like, instead of getting popcorn from a bag, getting the kernels and making it in a wok. And I watched the video by this guy called Brian David Gilbert, and he works for Polygon.com, but he also does his own little videos, and he talks about this thing that he makes called pepcorn, which is popcorn with laugan ma, which is like a chili oil sort of bean thing. It's super tasty, really nice. And he makes popcorn by getting a big wok, popcorn kernels. He like grinds his salt down, so it's like he calls it theatre salt. It's like, in fact, you might know this if you said you worked in a theatre before. If you guys made popcorn there, it's like really, really like powder salt essentially. And then he like does it in his wok at home, and he says the wok is the best way to cook popcorn because of the shape of it. When the popcorn pops, it will pop up and away from the flame, and then the other kernels will shift down. So as long as you do it right, you'll essentially get no unpopped kernels by the end of it.
Well, that is good to know, because that is definitely a bugbear of mine. Yeah. Like for real, like putting a bag of popcorn in a microwave. Always end up with like one burnt, and then others that are just unpopped.
Or like the bottom. I'm having a stroke. The part of the bag that's against the glass plate always burns. It's like black, and they take it out. I can never get it. But
I can't cook popcorn.
I can't do it.
Ow. Am I really even a person? I can't cook popcorn.
But that's the thing. The reason that it's been in my head so much is because, number one, I bought Lao Gan Ma the other day for Hannah, and then it made me think of popcorn. And number two, the thing I miss the most about the cinema is the popcorn.
Oh yes, I miss that too.
Yeah, and I've always been like, it's weird because I can make popcorn at home. I can put the thing in the bag. I can put the bag in the microwave or whatever, but it never tastes like cinema popcorn. And I think what I'm missing is the ground up salt that he uses. This like fine powdery salt, and then like I don't know if it like also helps because of the way the wok. I don't know. I'll get back to you once we've tried it. But,
yeah.
I'll send you a recipe.
Please do. How to cook popcorn. I'd love that.
Yeah. Well, for me, popcorn is like one of the lighter comfort foods. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like if you can't handle like mac and cheese, or you can't handle like I can't think of any other comfort foods, just tomato soup. I don't know.
Tomato soup. Potatoes.
A potato, a singular potato. Then like popcorn's always the one, like whenever you're sitting at the end of the night and you're watching a movie, like it's always popcorn that you want.
I love it. I went through such a phase though for the toffee popcorn, which isn't so light, but I still love it. I love it. I think that's
you're
up there for me.
Popcorn person.
I am.
I'm a salty popcorn fan. I've never been a sweet popcorn lady, but that means that we would be perfect as cinema friends. We would. Because neither of us would steal each other's popcorn.
That's a good point. I quite like mixing them. I like a salt and a sweet.
I do hear that. And I do subscribe to the like putting chocolates in your salted popcorn as well. I don't do it very often, but like you could put like Smarties or Maltesers or Minstrels in your salt popcorn, and it just like adds a bit of zest.
I see that. I feel like that would for me would be a terrible choking hazard. I would definitely like lose control. I'd lose track because I'd be staring away.
You would go into a feeding frenzy.
I might. I don't know. It's just too much.
Oh my god. Did I ever tell you the story of this? Is such a strange departure.
Yeah.
It was a time where my mum was eating Skittles, and she like, I realised afterward, was not even chewing them at some point. She was just like, she would just eat like a penguin, just gulping them down. And we were sitting watching the TV, and I was like, I think I must have said something to her, and she never answered me. I turned round, and she was like red in the face, and she was choking on a Skittle, and I was like, oh my god. So I like leaned over, but I can't, my mum's in a wheelchair, so I couldn't like stand her up to give her the Heimlich maneuver, and I was like, oh Jesus. So I like leant her forward, and I pressed the buzzer on the wall. She's in a care home, so I pressed the buzzer on the wall for the carers to come, but that buzzer could mean I'm choking on my Skittles, or it could mean I want another cup of tea. So there's not really any urgency. Oh, no. So it's fine. Thankfully I'm first aid trained. So I leant her forward, and I did what you do when you can't do the Heimlich maneuver. And she thankfully coughed these Skittles back up again. This is how I know she never chewed them, because they came up whole. How does one enjoy Skittles? The only way to unlock the flavour of Skittles is to chew them. So I don't know what she was doing. Anyway, So the caterers just so happened to come in just after she spat these Skittles out. So they came in and she was leaning forward. I had my fist like up in the air behind her and I was like holding her like by the shoulders, and she had this like red drool that looked like blood coming out of her mouth from the Skittles, and I was like, it's not what it looks like.
Oh my
She was just joking.
God.
Oh my God.
That's insane. That's amazing though, like, you know, having that instinct just start to kick in, and you train for it, and you just you know.
Yeah, it was a shame because I know how sore the Heimlich manoeuvre hurts. Yeah. It hurts a lot. And the other option, so the Heimlich manoeuvre is literally, I don't know if you know this already, but it's literally just a more polite looking way to punch someone in the stomach.
Yeah.
Like, all you're doing is punching the air out. So the thing you were supposed to do before, and also I realised I'm not supposed to call it the Heimlich manoeuvre anymore, because Dr. Heimlich, or whatever his name was, his family is trying to patent the name.
What?
So if you use the name the Heimlich manoeuvre in documents, they are trying to like get money for you. Like, I know, crazy. So it has another name now, but I don't know what that name is yet. But essentially, if you can't do that manoeuvre, what you do instead is you just continually punch someone in the back.
Yay!
Yeah. So so when I saw that my mum was choking, I lent her forward and I was like, I'm sorry, this is gonna hurt, and just started walloping her.
Oh, it worked.
But as soon as the adrenaline was over, that's when the panic kicked in.
Wow.
I sat back down, everything calmed down, and I was just like like out of nowhere, like the panic had just kicked in. But anyway, completely off topic. Just a funny story got her thinking
gotta love it.
Thinking of you choking. Well, now you know that if we did go to the cinema together and you did want to try mixing the two, you're in safe hands.
Thanks. I think I would. Yeah, you could be my like cinema treat buddy, and then you know,
I'm great for it too.
I'd be up for that. I miss the cinema as well. I've not been at all since lockdown eased.
I think it's still closed. I don't think you can go to the cinema yet. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I missed that.
But yeah, my service suggestion was popcorn. I want to round way back to that again.
So eat some popcorn and read yourself a nice poem, and you'll be grand.
Yeah. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your popcorn. That's that.
Absolutely.
The one last thing I wanted to do before we left was, I mentioned it. I don't even know if it made it into the episode last week. I can't remember, but I mentioned a game that I wanted to play with Annabelle. Mm-hmm. So basically what I've done is I've got a few English and one, I think, Scottish phrase, so be prepared for that.
Okay.
I've got a few of those, and I've put them through a few different languages and then translated them back into English.
Okay.
So I'm going to read Annabelle the translated version, and Annabelle's going to try and guess the phrase in what the phrase originally was in English.
Are they like basically like well-known, like,
yes,
like, you know, like, what do you call them, like idioms and stuff?
Yeah, I've chosen ones that are like actual phrases, well-known phrases.
Okay.
I think, like I said, I think one of them might be a Scottish one, and I'll let you know when that one comes up. It might be an English one, I can't really tell. I'll give you one that, here's the thing, I feel like you'll be good at this, but then I thought you were going to be good at mixed steak and the awful tower, so...
Yeah, don't hold me up too much to these things. I'm a super smart person, I know that, but there's also a part of me that gets extremely confused by things, so...
I'll give you the one I think you'll probably hopefully get. So
okay.
This is the translation. Don't look at the horse in your mouth.
Okay. Don't look at the horse in your mouth.
Don't look at the horse in your mouth.
So it's something about. It's something maybe about holding your voice, like, you know.
Think more literally. Don't look at the horse in your mouth.
Oh my god, it's gonna be so obvious. Don't
focus on the word horse.
Leading a horse to water.
No. The words that haven't changed, I'll give you that.
Okay.
Is look is in both.
Okay.
Horse is in both. In is in both, and mouth is in both.
Oh my god. Look.
Yeah.
Look in the horse's mouth. Look.
No.
Be careful, the horse has lasers in its face.
Yeah, that's it. You did it.
I don't know. What?
Want me to tell you?
Yes.
It is never look a gift horse in the mouth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that does make sense. Do you know what? I don't really know that phrase very well. It's not on my repertoire of phrases. Yeah. What does it even mean? Don't look a phrase.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I think it means like if someone gives you something, don't like tear it apart. Like don't be like, oh, I didn't actually want that, or like, that kind of thing.
Is it like the Trojan horse? Is that where it stems from?
Probably, like, yeah. Because if you look inside, I always just thought that it would kick you.
I mean, it probably would.
Yeah, probably because if you looked in the Trojan's mouth, the Trojan horse mouth, you'd be like, wait a minute,
and then you'll get slaughtered.
Why is this horse filled with people? Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do the Scottish phrase for you.
Okay, right.
And then see if you can get it. So this is the translation. Okay, hold on. Never go by what will go by for you.
What is for you? What's for you won't go by you.
Yay!
Yay!
Well,
see, I know that.
That was a good one. You did great.
I mean, that did sound just like lots of like little words that someone had just found and sort of mixed together. But yeah.
Never go by what will go by for you.
Never go by. What was it? Never go by.
Never go by what will go by for you.
I know. It's how I live. I live by that every day.
Yeah, and I live by that. I have one more, but I think for this one, I'm going to tell you what the translation is. Uh-huh. You can make your guesses now, and then people at home, listeners at home, let us know. DM us on Instagram if you think you've got it. If you have got it, then we will tell you next week if you got it right.
Yeah, let's go for it.
This one's either going to be super easy or super tough. I can't really tell.
Oh, okay, right. I'm excited.
Right? Okay, this one's a really common phrase.
Okay.
So the translation is, "Be flexible, go freely."
It's like a gym motivational quote.
Everybody who thinks they know what this is, be flexible, go freely. Hit us up on our Instagram or our Twitter, and if you get it right, we'll shout you out next week. I cannot tell if this is an easy or a hard one, so we'll see what people come up with.
Okay.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. That was such a varied episode. I feel like
it really was.
We went through a lot of different, wonderful, weird things.
I loved it.
I wanna do more phrase game. I'm definitely gonna give you some at some point. Maybe next week.
If you think up some for next week. I think I'll give the answer to this one up top next week so that no one's left hanging. And
great.
Then, you get some for me. I'm excited. I'm ready.
Super duper.
So, usual sign off. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Breakfast Food Podcast. You can find me at cara.mckinley.art on Instagram, or McKinley_art on Twitter.
Y'all.
And you can find Annabelle
and
on...
you can find me only say nice things, please.
Yes, please.
On Instagram.
Purposefully
and
go
Twitter.
and say nice things. Lordy
yeah, please do. Like, give me a follow and watch my weird videos. And you can find me at Annabelle Logan Comedy on Instagram. I won't give you the handle because you just look it up. It's easier. And then Twitter is Burnt Out Bulbs. That's my handle for that as well. Yeah.
Lovely.
Lovely.
Bye.